So I have 15 questions to ask you.
Okay.
Please, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Yes, hello, my name is Etzel Ecleston, and I was one of the department heads for Archive 81 as a makeup artist.
You have worked on excellent series as Blacklist, Gotham, recently Archive 81, but also
Yes.
some good films as Section 99, Clifford, and of course, Wild Side Story. How do you choose which project do you sign into?
I usually try to see who is the department head or the key, so I can go ahead and see if they have work available, but I just love to work. Anything that has to do with makeup and anything that has to do amazingly with especially comic books, that's especially what I like to do.
Can you describe your position as the hair and makeup department head?
Yes, for department head, you are usually working close to the executive producers and the showrunners so that you can go ahead and collaborate with them so that they can go ahead and with them you can you can go ahead and translate what their story wants to do. So you could go ahead and interpret the look, whether it be for a particular year, especially if it's a time period piece.
What was a typical day on the set on this Archive 81 series, please?
It was amazingly thrilling, and it was sometimes a little bit hectic because we would have to be sometimes in 2 or 3 time periods at the same time, since the main character of Dan Turner had to be in the present time, but for Melody Pendris, she was in 1994. So you had to make sure to keep the makeup and the looks as to how we used to look. Oh my goodness, it was about 30 years ago. Can you believe it?
What have you learned during your time in the film industry?
Oof, to wake up really, really early.
Yes.
Not a morning person, but definitely one of those. And to keep everything very organized, especially being a department head.
Which are for you the good ingredients to create a good series as this one?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes, which are for you the good ingredients to create a good series as this one? The cast, the director, the place, the screenwriter, for example?
Definitely the set design. Sometimes when we were filming, and it was at nighttime, I was like, oh my God, this is so creepy. Thank goodness we are together, because of the fact that this series is a little bit dark. And then we were filming in the forest and it's nighttime. Definitely those were the good ingredients to go ahead and have for a cult classic, for something to be scary.
Can you speak more about the hair and your collaboration with Mamoudou, Athie, and Ariana Neal, please?
Yes, for Mamoudou Athie, which he is such a gentleman, it was such a thrill to go ahead and work with him. He definitely is such a good actor. And for Ariana Neal, she is young, but she is great. She made everything go ahead and be really easy to go ahead and work with. And it was a pleasure to work with them.
What was the most difficult aspect for you to work in this series?
Definitely the timelines. Sometimes we would have to go ahead and be in the 1920s when we had to deal with the character of Iris Voss that was played by Georgina. And that jumping from 1994 to 1920s to go ahead and go back to go ahead and make sure to use the proper lipstick and use the proper colors and how people used to wear their makeup around that time. But that's also what made it really interesting.
How much direction do you require, or how much freedom are you given to do your work?
It's a compromise. It's definitely a compromise between the showrunner, the executive producer, the director, because as a makeup artist, you want to do something exactly how you feel it's correct because it's historical, but at the same time, we're telling someone else's stories. So it's definitely a give and take with the executive producer and the storytellers and the writers. So we go ahead and come to a happy medium.
How different is a film production from TV, and at least in terms of your position?
Could you repeat that?
Yes, how different for you is to work on a movie or TV as a TV series, sorry, as this one, and at least in terms of your position?
Just the timing. With a TV series, it's usually about 6 months, or to give like about 4 to 5 to 6 months. But in a movie, it's usually about 6 weeks. So definitely it's a lot of time and effort and waking up early. So it would be like that.
Is there anything you want audience to know about the hair and makeup process on this series?
Definitely a lot of research, especially for the scenes that were for the gala and for the Vase party. You want to be correct with the way that the ladies would wear their eyebrows and what type of lipstick shape that they had for their lips, and for the gentlemen, how they would wear their facial hair and their sideburns around the 1920s.
What did you learn and retain from working on this series?
Definitely a lot more about satanic rituals, more than I may want to go ahead and know, but definitely more about the fact of having more about pagan rituals and how people go ahead and go about it.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to become a makeup artist as you?
Don't give up.
Yes.
It is a difficult task, and it has definitely a lot of early hours, but just do your research, especially with who you are working with, the actors, what they have previously worked on, how they might actually like to have their makeup done, especially as a department head, to see who you are working with as per the executive producers and the showrunners, to know their past works, such as when I was working with Rebecca Sonnenshine, that she had Vampire Diaries and The Boys, one of my favorites. So definitely knowing who you are working with and the fact of knowing your research and being organized.
Can you talk a little about your work on West Side Story?
Oh, that was one of my favorites. The fact of I worked in background and I was able to go ahead and work for Judy Chin, which was amazing. And that, again, being a time period specific project, the fact of having to do the makeup exactly how they used to do it, and the fact of being able to make sure that that makeup stayed because of all the dancing on the days that I was hired to work on that, because it was amazing that just a fact of it being 2 or 3 minutes, but the multiple takes that had to be done outside in the summer in one of the hottest days. So it was amazing to do that.
Great. And my last question, which are your current projects?
Right now we are on hiatus, but I do have another project coming up, and that was Not Okay. And I can't wait to go ahead and see how that is edited. That is with Zoe Deutsch and Mia Neal.
Thank you, Etzel. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.